Today's speaker, Shayna McHale, is a rising young rapper from New York City whose first album, Satisfaction Guaranteed, was released a summer ago, with themes ranging from the value of eating well to the importance of calling instead of texting. Her lyrical dexterity and unabashed womanhood have caught the attention of many listeners, clearly a lot of you on campus. So without further ado, give a round of applause for today's lecture.
Everyone. So I really wanted to start with just sort of what it was like for you growing up and like what you were interested in, what you were thinking about.
Growing up, you want to talk about like growing up when I like was reborn, or you want to talk about growing up from growth, like
okay, well now that you said reborn, I think we'll start there. So yeah, when you sort of came out with when you came out with Cream Team, were there people who came to you and sort of were like, this is who you need to be? Or were you sort of like, did you just curve that entirely?
Well, with Cream Team, that honestly was a test for me. See, I never planned to do music like ever. I was like, oh, artsy and the fashion, blah, blah. I love to express myself, but with Cream Team, when that song came out, I was like, okay, let me try this, let me put a song out. Let me just do it and see what happens. So that's literally what happened with that. I just did it, put it out. Even when I wrote the song, I wasn't even thinking as much as I think now, because after Cream Team, then there was Stitches, and Stitches was a song to me that I felt like was very violent, and it was very real for me too, because it talks about adultery basically and just men cheating, and I had come out of a very bad relationship and I wanted to express that, and adultery has been something that's always been heartbreaking and just bothered me so much with family, with my own intimate relationships, and the way I expressed that in Stitches, it wasn't very girl power to me, but so many girls loved this song and I was so confused, and I made a conscious effort to never perform that song, because I'm like, I don't want to be, you know, when I have my live shows, I like it to just be love and just good vibes, and I don't want the women in the crowd feeling like they have to grill each other or like I'm putting them against each other. But then they would come up to me after the show, like, why didn't you perform Stitches? And I'm like, it's so violent. But after that, it just showed me like the true power of my choice of words and just what I want to say. And so going back to Cream Team, I wasn't thinking like that. I was just like saying whatever. Oh, let me just say something cute and just write this, like Pussy Muscle Hustle. And even the Pussy Muscle Hustle, when I first came up with that, I wasn't even thinking so much about it. But after, I noticed the Pussy Muscle Hustle is actually a real thing, because everything that has come after that has been the hustle. It has been me flexing my pussy muscle, which means that I'm not really using it. I'm just flexing it. I mean, I'm using it, but I'm not, you know? I'm flexing it in the sense that I'm using it to just remind me of my strength, like I am woman, I am strong, like I can get these things done. That pussy muscle is in there and it has so much it can do. And then the hustle is just like the doings and all that. So it actually became a thing, and now I'm just more like conscious of everything that happens and all of that. But when Cream Team and Stitches came out, I was just like, oh, let me just test the waters.
Yeah. So maybe going back before your rebirth to like your earlier life, we want to pedal back.
Shay.
Yeah. So, you know, where are you from? Where's your family from? And
so my mother's from Trinidad and my father's from Jamaica, and I grew up in East New York, Brooklyn. And growing up, I loved to draw girls, and then I also loved to write stories. Like, I have so many composition notebooks filled with handwritten, like 14-chapter novels of just my young imagination, and I still have them. And I read like 3-4 months ago, I read some of them, and I was just so shocked. But it made so much sense because the things I was writing about, it could easily be like the novel for Satisfaction Guaranteed. Like, it could be that.
Yeah. So clothes is one thing I was interested in talking about. The warm colors, the earth tones.
So when I was a child, actually, I never liked the color brown. I was like, why would I want to wear a color that matches my skin? I don't know why I thought like that. And now thinking, I really don't know why I thought like that, because I grew up in such a righteous Black family, and we never like put down brown skin or brown colors. So when I did that, I was just like, wow, I was so young and dumb. But now brown is like my color. I'm like, this compliments me so nicely.
It's nude.
I don't know why I was so, like, I used to just wear a bunch of like bright colors and patterns, which is something I like to do now, but I have so much respect for the earth tones and for the natural colors now, and that's something I've grown to love.
Yeah, so what are some of those things? I was thinking of maybe new music that you were into, but I think broadly speaking, like, what are some of the, I guess, self-improvement things that you're working on now?
It's an everyday, it's a full-time job loving yourself, you know that.
Yeah.
But
just put that right in
it's a full-time job loving yourself, it's a full-time job respecting yourself, it's a full-time job being a human in general, because, you know, you have to get out of bed every day and you really have to want something, and you have to just make your existence feel worthy.
Yeah.
And right now, what I'm trying to, there's no specific agenda for what I want to learn, but I just want to be the greatest human that I can be, meaning like, I just want to be when I pray, I ask to be a better listener, a better lover, a better friend, a better daughter, a better artist, a better translator of emotions. Like, those are the things that I want to be great at. It's not like, oh, I want to like, even though I do really want to learn how to knit, and I tried to learn last winter because I'm like, it's winter time. This is a good time to learn how to knit, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm left-handed, so I was buying all of these knitting books, and they were for right-handed knitters. And I'm like, no wonder I wasn't getting this. But there are like so many things. I'm just open to everything because that's the only way I'm gonna know what I do like, what I don't like. So yeah.
And that all becomes a part of the music.
It does, and that's the special part, because it's like, oh, I just get to live. And then, you know, like I said, so many things get me happy, sad, mad, angry, whatever. But then when the music comes, like even today, I was just humming all day this new song that Shy Guy and I did last week. I can't get it out of my head. It's so good. Can't wait for you to hear it.
I think we have time for one more question, maybe, or two, one or two. Yes.
So your new album, Pregnant with Success, is that an ode to your mother and women in general, letting them take a job?
So she asked if my new album, Pregnant with Success, is an ode to my mother or just women with a child.
Yes.
It definitely is. You got it. See? I was just thinking, like, I'm going to have to explain this album title when it comes out. But my next album is Pregnant with Success, and it definitely is an ode to my mother, to all mothers, to anyone who's ever planted a seed, to anyone who's ever created something, to anyone who's ever just, you know, waited patiently for something to come into fruition.
Yeah. Can you talk a bit about your team? Because they're all here.
Yeah.
Give them some shout outs.
So first and foremost, we have my mother in the building. And she's just been such a huge support just with this whole Junglepussy journey. She's always just taught me to just embrace it and don't be afraid of it. And I'll never forget when she caught the epiphany. She caught an epiphany and she texted me. She was like, there's nothing wrong with Junglepussy. She's like, for some reason, when you put jungle and pussy together, it does something, but those two words, there's no harm in it. And she told me never, ever to be ashamed of it. So that's one. Then we have Shy Guy, my music producer, who's in the building, and he just is such a genius, and he totally gets me. And
he's the one in the hat with the phone.
He's in the hat and the bag, and he just totally just gets everything I want to do, and we work so well together. I'm so blessed to have him. And then we have SuspectsNYC, who you guys know if you watch any of my videos, because they've done all of them, and they're here to capture this moment for me today, and I'm so happy that they're here. But yeah, they are another group of people who just, they get me, and they get that I have a vision of myself, but then they also have their own vision, and the fusion is just so magical. You can't fake real. I'm eating great eel. Teriyaki couldn't stop me with a blade feel. Fuck with me, get $1.50 like the face of seal. I'll fuck your face. No microwave meals. You can't mistake these oxtails for the chicken spot.